Another common control, HTML control used with PHP pages are list boxes. We're going to take a look at how list boxes work now. This is a multiple select list box. You can have fully open list boxes as you see here, or you can have drop-down list boxes. They're made with the same select control. The difference is you can't do multiple selections with a drop-down list box, so this is going to be a fully open list box, and it's going to allow you to select various items, various fruits, apple and pomegranate, for example, and then you click the submit button, and you see the data here. You selected apple and pomegranate. So this PHP page, PHP listbox.php, correctly identified the items we selected in the PHP listbox.html page. So let's take a look at how this works now. Tell you how to work with list boxes and handle data from list boxes in PHP. What we're going to do is create a form. Method equals post, action equals PHP listbox.php. That's where the data will be sent from this web page. And you create a select box, select list box, and you make it a multiple selection list box with the multiple attribute, standalone attribute like this. And you set the name equals to, and then you can call it, for example, food, or you can call it fruits, but we call it food here. And then use a pair of square brackets. Now, square brackets is important in order to get PHP to understand that what you're going to be passing to it is an array of items. So the square brackets after the name of the select control is important for PHP to understand that you're going to be handling this item as an array. And then you place the option elements that will appear inside the select control using option elements like this. As you see, apple, orange, pear, pomegranate. And that's all you need. Now when you select or make multiple selections in this select control, the items will be passed to the PHP page on the server under the name food. And food will be handled as an array. Of course, you also have a submit button. As you see here, just click the submit button and the selections you've made are automatically sent to the server to this URL. It's because this URL, this PHP listbox.php, is in the same directory on the server as PHP listbox.html. You can use a relative URL like that. If you were using different directories, you would have to use an absolute URL. And so this is why we're able to use a relative URL, because this file is in the same directory as this PHP listbox.html you're looking at right now. And let's take a look at php listbox.php, and it says you selected. Now we've got to extract from the data that was sent to us from the web page the selections the user made. So here's the PHP section to do that. You say if is set, and then you're checking to see whether or not the user made any selections at all. If they didn't, when you try to work with the food array, you'll get errors. So you first check whether or not it's been set. If is set, $request food checks whether or not the user made any selections at all. If not, then this body is not executed. But if they did make selections, then we're going to use a PHP for each loop, which we've already gone over, to loop over the items in the array returned by this expression, $request food returns an array, and you can say as fruit. So each time through this loop, the fruit variable will hold a different fruit that the user selected. We just echo it to the web page. We're going to send back to the browser like this, and you can see the results here. You selected apple and pomegranate, or the user selected apple, orange, pomegranate, then you selected apple, orange, pomegranate, and so forth. So that's the way you handle multiple select controls in PHP as arrays. And here you just refer to the name of the array. But it's important to realize that in the HTML page, you actually have to include the square brackets like that in order to tip off PHP that this particular data item is an array and not just a single data item as it is for other controls. So very nice and very powerful. Now you know how to work with list boxes in PHP and HTML, and it's an excellent skill to have and a good one to work with in creating your own web pages.